Alright guys, so we have this temporary array here that I built on a trailer, but the long-term goal was to put an actual permanent array right behind it back there. I finally got all my materials and building permits, and I almost have the interconnect agreement. I know I said that last time, but I went through a lot of stuff, and finally I'm about to get the interconnect agreement. Should be early next week. So I didn't really want to start this until I actually had the interconnect agreement, but I'm 99.9% sure that I'll have it next week, so there's not too much to worry about now. I can just go ahead and get this started. So we're going to do a ground mount array. It's going to be season adjustable, but it's not trackers. It's just you move it manually a few times a year. This is the south side right here, so I have a southern exposure. The sun goes like this. So I have probably 80% of the day I have sun here. Right now it's the end of the day and the sun's way over there. So right now the sun's going like this. But in the summertime it'll be up more like that. In the wintertime it goes more like that. But either way, this is the best place on my property to put this array. And it just happens to be pretty close to my house. And for those of you that have watched me install my geothermal system, you know that I installed this conduit going to here. So we'll have to continue that over to there. So the way that it works in my town is you can have up to a 200 square foot array without having to get a special use permit. And for anybody that doesn't know what a special use permit is, basically that's almost kind of like a variance. You have to get on the schedule for a board meeting with your town, and you actually have to go to 2 of them. So it's about a 3-month process. I would have gotten it started a while ago, but I didn't want to do anything until I got this interconnect agreement. I didn't want to go through all that trouble because I did have a lot of problems with my utility company trying to get this interconnect agreement, but I finally got it all figured out. It's been about 3 months since I applied. But anyways, up to 200 square feet without a special use permit, and that's the aggregate. So in other words, if you have 2 sets of panels, they actually count the space in between them. So I figured it out, and the panels that I'm going to be using are bifacial, and if I stack them right next to each other, 10 in a row, it's exactly 200 square feet. What I wanted to do for right now was stack 5 and 5 behind it, and then once I get my special use permit, I'll add another 5 and another 5, or actually even more than that. But right now, the only way I can make this work is to do a straight row of 10 of them. And that's exactly 200 square feet. So because I want 2 rows, it would make sense for me to put the back row in first, 10 panels. And then once I get around to my special use permit, I'll put another 10 on the front here. Simply because back there, I won't have room to work later on. I'm not exactly sure what the plan is yet. And the reason is because I need to get all this dirt and rocks out of here first. And then I can lay things out exactly the way I want. So I'm going to take my dump truck and my excavator, bring them over here, and get all this out of here. And then we will work from there. So I've taken about 100 yards out of here, and I left some because I want to raise this area so that we're above the water a little bit more than the rest of this here. So at this point, what I want to do is take the skid steer and flatten this out with a slight slope going down towards the pond. Alright, well, scratch that idea. This is too wet. It's been really nice weather and we haven't had any rain for a while, and then yesterday, of course, it monsooned out, so I thought it would be dry enough today because it was sunny, but apparently not. Apparently this is going to need another few days, which is unfortunate because I was so close to getting this done to the point where we could actually start laying things out. But I'm doing this after work, so it's kind of second priority. But what I decided to do was switch to the rock bucket to take out all the rocks, because it seems like there's more rocks than anything else over here, and it's just so hard to grade anything out with these big rocks in here. So yeah, you can see, look at all these rocks. The smaller ones aren't so bad, like 4 inches or less, but anything bigger than that just makes it really hard to grade out. And then of course going up to the frame in mud doesn't help either, so we'll just have to revisit this as soon as it's dry, probably a few more days. And I got to resift these because even trying to just get rocks out of here doesn't really work when it's muddy, because the stuff just clumps together and it doesn't drop below the grate there. So let's come back in a few days. So as you can see, I still have a lot of water here, and I wanted to just get this somewhat reasonable because we're supposed to have like a week of rain coming up starting tomorrow. So if I could just get this even remotely flattened out, then the rain will kind of seep down through it and pack it in a little bit. But also this allows me to just sort of lay things out now, because I know I'm going to have to take down a couple of these small trees. I just couldn't even imagine where it was going to go without the piles taken away. So now that it's somewhat reasonably flat, I can start putting in some stakes and figuring out exactly what angle I want, how big it is, and how many trees I need to take out, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to do that now. So this is dried out enough where I got it under control now. I got it graded off good enough for now. I don't need it to be perfect because I'm gonna put some stone in here later and we can level that out. The main thing I want to do is just kind of flatten it out, take the big rocks out, and see what we're working with. So now the next stage here is going to be taking down some of these trees. So I've already taken some of them out with the skid steer, but it's just a lot easier with an excavator with a thumb. That way I can get these trees out of here and get them cleaned up without pushing over a bunch of other trees in the process. So basically what I want to do is take out these little bunch of trees here and these right here, and this tree right here is an ash tree, and I know it's gonna die soon. It's already got the bark peeling and stuff. I probably should just take that down, but it is still alive, so I'll leave that alone for now. But basically that's gonna be my corner. I'm gonna go from there over to there and over to there, and so all those trees got to come out, and most of them are ash trees, and then there's a couple maple, but they're like really small and I can replace them pretty easy. These two are ash and they're dead. That's an ash and that's dead. The only one I'm not really happy about taking out is this one right here, because I think it's some sort of like apple or pear or something, but I don't know, it really needs to get out of here. And I never saw it produce any fruit or anything, so I can't feel too bad about it. There is this suspicious pile of rocks over here. I mean, we got the rock wall right there. That was an old logging road. There's another rock wall about 30 feet on the other side, and that's my property line on the other side. But there's this suspicious pile of rocks right here, which I'll let you guys leave that to your imagination. I don't know. I'm not gonna go digging here though. But yeah, I don't need to get over this far. This is about the corner, so I don't even need to touch this, so we'll leave that alone. This is a pretty cool tree here. Looks like it's been here for a long time. I'm glad I'm not disturbing that. that's not perfect, but I don't have enough here, so I'm running kind of thin. But yeah, it's starting to rain now, so this is good enough, so at least we can walk on here and not track mud all over the place. So now, even if it rains, I can work right after the rain instead of having to wait a few days. So that was the goal. So I'll check back in with you when it stops raining and I can do something. By the way, this is 24 feet wide and 50 feet long. All right, so here it is the next day, and here's the plan. So we're gonna do the footings here. They're gonna be 6 inches deep. We're gonna go 32 feet wide. This is gonna be 6 feet wide, 6 feet wide, and 6 feet wide. This is 2 feet wide and 2 feet wide. So everything is 2 feet wide, except for these parts, which give it more stabilization. So that's what we're gonna design right back there. And that's gonna fit 10 panels for now. And once I get the board approval, which is probably 3 or 4 months from now, then we'll do another 10 panels right in front of it. So the way that the manual suggests to do it is to put a 30-inch or 31-inch deep footing that's 19 inches by 19 inches. And you pretty much have to put one on each panel. But I think that's just tedious to do all that kind of work. And then to try to get them lined up exactly where they need to be. That's why I'd rather just do a strip. And then after the strip is done, you can put the brackets wherever you want. That way you can figure out all the spacing later and just do the overall footing for right now. So we're gonna do a 6-inch deep footing with these little outriggers on it. And then we're gonna come up from there with a 8-inch thick wall that's 2 feet tall. And then we'll set our brackets on top of that. You can go back a little, like 2 feet. Good. So I decided to pour my own concrete here, mix my own concrete and pour it. So these forms are all ready to go. We're gonna drop rebar into it as we pour it, because it's not really that big of a deal. If this was a regular footing for a house, I wouldn't do that, but this is way overkill for what we need. So I got number 1 stone here, which is 3/8 clean, crushed. We're gonna do 2 buckets from the mini excavator with that, 1 bucket of the sand, and 2 bags of Portland, which should equal about a half a yard. Mix that in the skid steer bucket here, which is a half a yard mixer. So we should only need about a yard and a half to pour these footings right here, and then another yard and a half for the top, which I'll get into later. But for a concrete truck to come in here and pour a yard and a half, it'd probably cost me somewhere around $600 to $700. And I have, let's see, about $150 worth of materials to pour this. So then we're gonna pour on top of it another little wall, and again, I'll save about the same amount of money on that. I'm gonna go with 4 bags of Portland per yard, which is pretty low. That's only about a 2,000 PSI mix, but that's all we need for this. Normally for footings, they only call for 2,500 anyway, so we're pretty close to that. We'll just keep it low water, and that way it'll increase the PSI a little bit. push. Good. All right, grab this. Put it right there, right where the joint is. Yep. Right there. All right, yep. Put it right here. See these little ribs right here? You gotta be right here. Right here. Right there. Push. Push. Push harder. Harder. Push. Good. 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 Perfect. Okay. All right, so they call that a leg group. And basically there's 4 of these and there's 4 panels. So each one of these goes for each panel, kind of. I'll show you more on that when I get more of them made. But basically I need to make a whole bunch of these. All right, so I need to make 10 of these because I got 10 panels. So Caden, I got a job for you.
Yeah.
You want to make some?
Yeah.
These U-brackets get bolted in with an 80 millimeter. These are 70. Oh no. Yeah, no, they're 80. Okay, so here's for reference. Here's a 70. Okay, so there's a 70. There's an 80, and there's a 55. Okay.
Okay.
So first thing you're gonna do is put 80s on here. So you need 2 80s, like that. Okay.
Okay.
So these holes are sticking out, go like that. That way you have access to the top and bottom. Put your 80s in there. Now look, hold on.
Yeah.
You got to put 1 flat washer underneath. Then drop it down. You got your own, Noah?
Yeah. Put that one off to the side. Wait.
All right, flip it like Bro has it.
Small.
Flip it around like Bro has it. Flip it around like he has it.
Oh, Noah, can I?
Put it going across like this.
You need a small, Noah. So I need a 80. What is it?
All right, put them on there.
Dad, are these the 80s or are these the 70s?
Let me see.
Does it have a same?
Look, one's a 70 and one's an 80.
Oh,
Look,
so
keep these here so that you know. Give me that. You're gonna keep this here.
I'm gonna take that and okay, so I'm done.
Okay, so look, we're gonna leave these here for reference, okay? Whenever you need to know, you just put them right up next to these, okay? All right, here's an 80 for you.
Hold on, can I go inside and go get my Carhartt jacket? Can I go inside and get my jacket?
Okay. All right, Noah, look. I'm gonna take this apart. Flat washer goes on here. And put it through there.
Okay.
Getting cold?
Yep.
Alright, we might have to go inside. I can hear the rains are coming.
It's done right now.
Oh. Alright, so here we are a few hours later. It stopped raining. It's almost dark though. So I don't know how much we're gonna get done, but look at those orange and pink skies. Yep.
So that's...
Alright, we're gonna go in the garage because it's raining again. 4 3/8 anchor bolts hold on one panel, so that's pretty good. That's pretty stout. I don't live in a high wind area, but I'm sure that that would hold up to high wind. You know, I was just doing some calculations here, and I think I only need 2 kits here. So this is one kit, comes with 4 different braces. And if you space apart these middle ones by this much, my panels are 40 inches wide. So I can fit 5 panels with 4 braces. And since I don't live in a high wind area, I think that'll be just fine. If you don't do this, you end up with like a foot left over on each side, which to me is just ridiculous. That's just something for a kid to hurt themselves on or something. Which, yeah, I could just cut it off, but why cut it off if I can use it for another panel? Since I'm putting 10 panels here, instead of using 2.5 kits, let me just use 2 kits, and the middle panel gets bolted on right here and right here. And it doesn't exactly rest here, but it doesn't need to. I don't know, I'm not totally sure that I'm gonna go this route, but I'm thinking this is what I'm gonna do. I think the only thing I can really do is lay the panels out and just try it out. The only disadvantage I can think of is that this system is meant to ground the whole thing at once. So in other words, because this is supposed to be connected to this, it grounds it between there. But if I just run a jumper wire, a ground from that one to that one, that solves that issue, and that's a lot cheaper than getting another half a kit, which I already did get, but I could use it somewhere else. Yeah, I just don't see anything wrong with that. With that middle one just floating like that. I mean, it's only resting on the edges anyways. There's no reason to have any support right here. There's nothing there to support. See, it's just the edge gets supported there, and the edge gets supported there. So what's the sense in having something going across there? I don't know, I think I'm gonna go with this. If my building inspector gives me a hard time, I guess I'll have to change it around, but I think this should be just fine. I didn't specify how many of these braces I was gonna use. Basically, I got a building permit for 10 panels using these braces. So I think this will be just fine. I guess if it's not, I got a couple hours worth of work to change everything, but I think it's worth doing. I think these braces are more than capable of handling the wind. Alright, so we got all these on here, but we need to make some adjustments because it's going uphill a little bit. So we're loosening up the bottom clamps and we're going to shift everything over. Because right now it's not super straight. So we're just going to do some adjustments and then I will show you when we're done. Alright, so that's a whole lot better. It's nice and perfectly straight now. So now we're just trenching out. So I'm going to put a box right there with a disconnect. So we're just trenching out to over here with 1-inch conduit. And this is where I ended. If you guys saw my geothermal video, you know that I ended right here because I was putting my geothermal system in over there. So I ran the 1-inch conduit to here, because that does the first 100 feet to my house. So we just picked up where we left off there, brought it over here. Now we're just finishing up. The conduit's already laid in there. We're just putting some lighter stuff on top of it. And then I'm gonna get that hooked up over there and backfill this. I want that to stay right where it is.
Okay, I'll grab it. I want to do a roll for you, okay? Can I do a roll for you?
Grab both of them. Okay, pull.
I'm going to roll.
Okay, hold on. Pull a little bit back. Alright, that's good. You're good.
Yeah.
not a monster. He was a monster. Hi, Dopey. Oh. Oh. Okay. That.
So I don't know if this is going to be exactly up to code, but I got to get an inspection, so I guess we're going to find out. But I use these for a bunch of other things where you can screw this onto something and then the back has just some raw wires coming out, and then you can plug the MC4 connectors into here and it's waterproof. It sits like this, and these solar panels have the MC4 connections here, so they would just plug right into here. So the way I wanted this to work was on the back side, I'm going to drill a hole through here and attach this right here, and I'm going to have two of them. One's going to be for the external solar panels or auxiliary solar panels, something that's not permanent, so we can just run a cord over and plug it in, and I'll probably have that trailer sitting right there until I find another use for it. But also, because I don't need a combiner box here, I can just come out with the MC4 connections, and then I have an external breaker. It's waterproof. So basically the solar panels plug into here and then output from here into this connection here and goes right into here. So I think this should be code. I've been doing some research, but I don't know for sure, and I think it also varies on the location that you're in. So this part of it's kind of an experiment. We'll see, and we'll see what the inspector says.
I found that envelope you're looking for. It was on your welder.
Alright, so I got everything all wire nutted in there. I got the breakers installed on the side. So we can start hooking these up. Now all these panels are going to be run in series, so 10 of them together, and the voltage is around 50 volts, so it's about perfect, and that maximizes the amount of wattage you can get with the smallest amount of wire. So we're only using 12 gauge wire, which it's more than adequate for that because we're only running 10 amps at the most. So 12 gauge THHN is more than adequate for that. If I'm reading the tables correctly, I believe you can actually get up to 30 amps. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure with THHN you can get more than 20 amps out of it. So we could actually run two of these in parallel. So we could put 20 panels, 10 in series and 2 in parallel. So now that I got these panels installed and wired in, the next thing I want to do is clear these trees right here, because as the sun is getting later in the day, it hits there and the trees block the sun to there. So all these got to go. They're all small, and I think I'm going to keep that pine tree right there. We'll see. It kind of looks like it's half dead anyway, so I guess we'll see when we get there. Alright guys, well this was a really long process to install these solar panels, and it's no fault of the panels or the brackets or anything else. It's simply because I really have been working on it like after hours. Like I have projects that I do after hours, and then I have this project, which was only if I don't have any other projects after hours. So it was worked on every once in a while. So it's pretty much done now. All I really need to do is address this area here. I'm not totally sure what I want to do. I was thinking some white decorative stone would help the bifacial aspect of these panels, which they should be able to reach up to 470 watts a piece. So if I have 10 of them, that should be 4,700 watts if I can get the bifacial part of it going on. The most important part is to put white stone in the back area here. I may clear some more trees out of here too. I think I'm done clearing trees out of that way, but basically the sun can make its sweep now, and the only thing that's in the way will be in the wintertime when the house is in the way, and those trees right there. And then when it falls at nighttime, just before dark, those trees block it, but I'm not going to take down those trees. It's not worth it. At this point, I'm not even thinking that I'm going to even put another array in front of this. I'm thinking this is probably it for here, because my plan is to put 30 to 40 panels on the south side of my garage over there. So some of those panels I will run some wire back to my house and feed my house inverter from those panels, and then the other panels will be fed into another inverter that's in the garage. So between all those panels that I have on there, I'm definitely going to be maxed out to the 25 kilowatts that I'm able to put on there. So I can run up to 18,000 watts into my house, and then I can run whatever's left over to there. You can run more than that. You can have more than 25 kilowatts worth of panels. It's just that they don't want you exporting more than 25 kilowatts. So the nice thing is the 18K PV EG4 that's in my house can only export 12 kilowatts, and if I get another one for the garage, that's 12 kilowatts, so that's just under 25. But you can utilize the 18 kilowatts to feed your batteries and offset the loads in your house, so you can utilize more solar. So really I could do up to like 36 kilowatts and still be fine. I can do as many kilowatts as I want, really, as long as I'm not backfeeding more than 25. That's the rules. But like I said before, this array kind of got my foot in the door to be able to export to the grid. Now that I'm signed up to do that, if I want to add on to this, it's no big deal. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it takes any time. It's just a matter of filling out an application, and then it's pretty much approved right away, because I already have the approval for the system to begin with, which was the biggest, hardest part, because they wanted to confirm that the whole system would work. So when you add on panels, they don't really care too much. So that was sort of the goal here. Like I said, I could put more ground mounts here, but I'd have to go to board meetings, and I was gonna do that, but I just decided I just don't feel like doing that. So I don't think I'm gonna put any more arrays down here. If I did, it would probably be some trackers, which I would still have to get the board approval for that. But I do wanna try to get as much bifacial gain as I can. Right now, for some reason, I'm actually getting another like almost 400 watts of bifacial gain. So let me show you on my computer what it's doing. So right here I'm getting almost 3,700 watts, and the clouds in the sky are kind of blocking the sun a little bit right now. But if I refresh it, the clouds are moving quite a bit. So right here, I'm already over my 3,950 watts, which the panels are rated for. So I'm getting approximately 400 watts of bifacial gain right now, which is basically the gain that you're getting from the back of the panel, because it's got like a glass instead of a white panel on the back. So it actually receives sunlight from the back side. So you can see on the left hand side that my battery is drained down pretty good. That's because the last few days we didn't really have a lot of sun, so right now I have it set to actually go down to 47 volts on the batteries, which is something that you need to do once in a while to sort of stretch the capabilities of the batteries, because they tend to not put out as much if you don't run it all the way down and then charge it all the way back up, they don't have as much capacity over time. They form a memory, so you need to sort of stretch the batteries every once in a while. And there was a really good tech from Signature Solar that taught me that. So that's what I'm doing right now. Because at 51 volts, it should be a lot higher than 4%. So I'm trying to get it to where the percentage meets the voltage. But you can see I'm charging the batteries at 3200 watts. And then I'm also putting another 1000 watts into my consumption right now. And there's nothing coming from the grid. So you can see here I'm down to 2200 watts, and that's a pretty average amount of power for this kind of day because it's mostly cloudy today. But the power fluctuates wildly. You can see that goes right up to 4 kilowatts again. And by the way, for any of you that are looking to install a ground mount system like this, these are, right now they're about $280 for 4 of them. So for me to do this entire array, the brackets that I use was only $560 plus a little bit of shipping. But they have shipping deals all the time where you can get it for free. So around $600 to $700 you can get all these brackets to do 10 panels. That's really good actually. And the fact that they're adjustable is even better. I would say that this is probably the best bargain you're ever going to get on a ground mount racking system like this. They're really easy to install. I got them from signaturesolar.com. I am affiliated with them, so if you do decide to get some, I'll leave a link in the description, and by you buying them, it helps me out. Anything that you buy off of their website through my link will help me get a commission from that, which I'm not looking to make a living off of it, but anytime I make money off of people buying this, what I do is take that money and invest it back into more solar and battery equipment for here and for up north in the Adirondacks and in my garage. I got a lot going on, and every time I get a chance to buy more, I get more excited about new videos that I can do to be more and more self-sufficient. And that's the whole goal behind doing solar stuff like this. I'm not trying to like save the planet. I'm literally trying to put money back in my pocket from utility bills, and the most important thing is to be self-sufficient. And on top of that, if the grid goes down for some reason with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's nice to know that I can rely on what I have for power. It's nice to know that I don't have to run a generator all the time. And pretty much right now with this array and the other array that was on a trailer that I brought away, just to show you guys this, I didn't want it blocking this for the drone shot coming out, but I'm gonna bring that back down here, and between this one and the trailer, I'm pushing 7,000 to 8,000 watts, and that does everything in my house that I need to. I don't need anything more than that. That actually produces more solar than I use in my house right now. So with that, and then all the panels I'm going to put over on the garage there, I'll definitely be producing all the electric that I need here on the property. And according to my calculations right now, between the garage, my house, and all the other buildings that are on my property, I'm going through about $10,000 in electric each year. So if I can eliminate $10,000 each year, that really pays off really quick. And that's not even including the fact that I also have power at nighttime with the batteries, and with storms, usually the sun's not out, so you store energy in the batteries, and then you can use it throughout the storms, and you know, every little bit counts. So once I get everything up and running between this and that, I'll be totally self-sufficient. I could unhook from the grid and I wouldn't even know it. So really the only thing that's left here is to grade this out a little bit better, maybe put some white stone. I'm not really sure, maybe I'll do something else. I wanted to use some clean stone. This is clean 3/8, which is a #1 stone. And I wanted to do that because I noticed that even when you use the driveway fabric, weeds grow on top of that if you have a lot of fines in the materials that you're using. So I used to use Crusher Run, but it has a lot of fines in it, and then the weeds grow right on top of the fabric in the fines of the Crusher Run. So I wanted to use a clean stone here, so that way there's no weeds that grow through here. That way I don't have to really maintain it. So I do have breakers on those that act as a shutoff. So that is a requirement. But another requirement not for the solar panels, but because I have a battery backup system, another requirement is I have to put what they call an RSD right here, which is a rapid shutdown. And basically it's just a button that's red that you just push it like that and it shuts down the battery system. So I just got the materials to install that, and I need to go ahead and do that. But this video has been going on for 6 months now, so I figured we could just end it here. And I have more solar projects coming up, so we can kind of go over things later on and I can show you how things have been working. But for now, like I said, this video has been going on for 6 months or more. I started it in the spring when there was not even leaves on the trees. So it's nice to be able to get this out of the queue and we can move on to something else. So I guess that's it for this video, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.